Far
watched it
From Home.
just recently. Yeah, I
Far From
suppose.
Home was like last year.
So
Mm-hmm.
we go from some of the highest highs to the lowest lows.
But would it be lower than the Hulk, I wonder?
I don't think this one,
But the
but
next.
let's
The
talk
next
about
one
Iron
for
Man
sure,
3.
but Iron Man 3, well, I know you have more thoughts knowing the lore of everything. You were more pissed off than anybody when we exited that theater.
Oh God. Well, you know what? I'll let people talk first, talk about the movie, and then I'll get into my rant.
Well, Iron Man 3 is like when I feel like that's like when the proper split from the comics happens, and this is when it's going off its own lore now, because I feel like by the end of Endgame it's not really similar to most
What at this point, yeah.
Honestly, they kind of went their own way at the end of Iron Man 1 because at that time in 2008, Iron Man still had a secret identity.
Yeah.
I guess so, eh? Well, with the Avengers having officially become this organization now, it's
One thing
it's very hard to keep secrets, I suppose.
Yeah, along with just being on TV everywhere, you get even a bit of battle damage, someone will recognize you. At least that's what real life logic would dictate. Movies, not
Yeah.
so much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think people
The people
recognize.
with secret identities, how few there are, makes a lot of sense as to why their identities are secret, but it's not required anymore. Which is a fascinating thing to look
For the
into.
most part, there is still one. Well, actually, we'll get to that.
So, what did you guys think of Iron Man 3?
I thought it was.
Zad, do you want to go first, or
Well, if it's on me, all right. I think it was
Okay.
weird, cause like, I remember seeing the commercials with this, and Jag kind of hyped this up for me. All right,
That's
cause
kind of
like,
my bad, but
cause yeah, like, he's like, oh shit, that's the Mandarin. We're entering a new age, man. This is gonna be like such a cool fight. And I'm like, hell's yeah, this is gonna be pretty cool.
well,
And
I also explained how the Mandarin is essentially the opposite of Tony Stark, focus relying on magic, while Tony relied on technology.
which is a fascinating conflict in and of itself. And I was looking forward to that solely on your recommendation on that one. And then we get to it, and once again, not only do we have the twist villain, but we have a bait and switch. For the most part, for the most part, for the other Iron Man movies, the other villains are still basically evil. What we get in this one, we get the reveal of the Mandarin, and what we get is, oh, sorry, mate. What you doing here? I'm just an actor, you know. All that big, old gruff and tough thing. Oh, that's not me. That's just something else. That's just a part. And oh,
just trying to shag, innit?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, wait a minute, hold up. How the?
Now, I think it's important to note that the real Mandarin, is actually going to appear in the MCU in the Shang-Chi movie. That's already been confirmed.
Okay.
So, the Mandarin, the one with the 10 rings, the one with the mystical powers, we are going to finally get him.
All right. Well, we know that. You know, it's funny. We didn't actually get a proper look into the properties of magic until about
Doctor Strange.
6 movies later. So all that anticipation for this new element to be added, sure, we have Thor and his mystical hammer and everything else, but all of that's kind of brushed aside. And I think
here's the thing, I was super excited for this movie. Like, as soon as I heard the Mandarin was in, I was all in for this movie.
Oh yes.
And they Huh, change it for another fucking guy in a suit.
To be fair, this was the introduction of AIM as well, which was a huge
AIM.
villainous
Here's the thing.
corporation.
I feel like
Going.
if I did feel like I was lied to, I would be as angry.
And that's where it comes in. That's why I said you'd probably be more pissed off than anybody about this. Because I myself thought AIM was a fascinating organization,
And I thought it was too. And I liked the final confrontation. It's just the sheer fact that I was pretty much promised a magic encounter against technology, and I get AIM instead.
Oh, you were wounded.
I signed up for different things.
You were quite wounded.
It's like if you signed up, if you signed up to become a doctor, and you find out your course is actually to become a mechanic.
Improvise, adapt, and overcome.
There we go.
And by doing that, well, this is actually completely unrelated. One thing that this movie I think does pretty well is with Tony's character and how he's still like recovering from the events of the Avengers movie.
The PTSD stuff was
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh
And
yeah.
This is my struggle. I am ticked off at this movie, but I don't know if I can quite say I hate it.
And that's the thing too. It was still a
And that's
decent.
why it was important for me to rewatch it,
Mhm.
because second watching, I did not hate it as much, but I still feel a little salty.
I still think it was a decent movie though. I liked it a lot more than Iron Man 2, I'll say.
I think I might put it low B, high C.
That's fair. I can agree with that.
I'd go with a B myself.
So low B.
So be it.
Fuck. But I had to give my rant about the mandarin twist because it holded to my first viewing, and I think that's important to talk about.
Residually as well, that affected me, but not nearly to the extent that it affected Jag.
You should have been there, said somehow from Ireland on the car trip home of me just ranting.
Oh gosh.
See, I'm coming in with this perspective of I've never, like, before watching the movies, I've never read any of the comics. The only thing I did was play a few of like the big Marvel collaboration
Fun fact,
games.
I just started reading the comics just the last couple of years.
Yeah, like what
So
was
I
that
knew
game?
of these characters from cartoons and stuff.
Yeah, like I didn't even watch the only cartoons I watched were Spider-Man. Like the only game that was like fully Marvel that I played was Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and like they did have quizzes and stuff, but like even still, like it was basically just the Fantastic Four game with everyone there.
Oh yeah.
Pretty
Now-
much, yeah.
Are we ready to go to the bottom of the barrel?
Oh gosh, this movie.
So sad.
yeah.
You said you wanted to see Asgard more, eh?
How much?
Oh, not like this.
What, you don't want to see more Gray or I don't know, some more Gray?
Ugh. Well, I mean, I guess it's a little more interesting than what the fuck is going on Earth with the fucking professor dude running around naked trying to find out the fucking secrets of Stonehenge or something. It's like, oh my gosh, guys! Like, what the...
Being completely honest, this movie and the first one kind of just blends into one kind of weird, like not disgusting sack of mashed potatoes, but like
I honestly
could have done better.
think they're quite separate in the fact that the original Thor is miles better than this one.
Oh no, yeah, but it's like they're
Okay.
so like it's the same kind of vibe. Like visually, it's pretty much the same. Even though the first one is
Visually, it's much more Gray.
yeah. Like the thing is overall,
And here's the thing. The Dark Elves could have been good villains. They were just boring.
They were!
Yeah.
It was so boring! I didn't even remember! I remember seeing that, like, oh, Christopher Eccleston, the man that did the frickin' Ninth Doctor, was part of this. And he was the villain, and I'm like, hells yeah! I love Christopher Eccleston! Let's fucking go!
I think you actually talked to... You were hyping that part up for me, weren't you?
Yes, absolutely!
Oh god, the order
Hey,
is this.
like, this time you were hyping
accidentally
me up because,
refreshed.
like, we know not much, but Christopher Eccleston, man.
And he did basically fuck all!
And then the part focused on Jane Foster being poisoned all movie.
Yeah. Honestly, and then eventually going back to Earth with our favorite sidecast, which is a bunch of loons at this point!
But we do meet Sad's favorite character, Darcy.
I mean, if you like,
Meow.
if you met a literal god, like if I met a literal god, just like casually coming down, I would also be a bit loony too.
But here's the thing, these people... MCU has a great supporting cast of characters, but these people somehow to be some of the most unlikable supporting cast.
You know what these guys are like,
there's
Jag?
almost a reason why they ignored all the humans in Thor Ragnarok.
You know what these guys are like? They're like a worse version of Hayner, Pence, and Olette from Kingdom Hearts.
God.
They are essentially the Hayner, Pence, and Olette of the Marvel Universe. Completely and utterly worthless to the overall story.
But don't worry, they'll be important. But to be fair, Jane Foster is going to be for eventually. We know that.
Which is weird considering that what we know of Natalie Portman's time on set.
Yes, he did not care for... To be fair, the portrayal they were giving her was pretty garbage, so I don't blame her for not liking the character.
Of course not. But why would you expect it to get better at that point?
Well, I think because there's a different
Have a little
director at the
faith.
helm now.
No, maybe.
Because Thor Ragnarok had a completely different director after the last two just completely sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think after looking at what Ragnarok did, and we're not going to get too much into Ragnarok, and see what Dark World did, what movie would you rather be a part of?
Mm-hmm. It's a no-brainer at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. Like I said, I've watched this movie like a good few times, and I've watched it a few times because I have run through, like, I ran through the entire catalog when I was going up to Age of Ultron, and then again for I think it was Civil War, but I'm not sure. And anyways, I've run through the movies a few times. I can never remember anything that happens in this movie.
I think this is this movie's biggest sin. It's boring, and the best scene in this movie, and I'll spoil it for you guys, is the scene where Loki becomes Captain America and mocks him.
Yeah.
Boom.
I don't know.
I told you the only thing worth checking out. YouTube it, boom, you've seen everything you need from Dark World.
Essentially.
You'll be happy when you see the credits. Not the after credits scene, just the credits.
Even, I mean, the after credits scene was kind of like one last attempt at a laugh.
Speaking of best after credit scenes, we did not even...
Oh shit, we missed over the Avengers!
Roma, best after credit scene ever. Fight me.
The ultimate meeting at a shawarma place.
The only other after credit scene that almost tops it is Spider-Man Homecoming, and we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes! Okay. But yeah, where are we putting this, boys? Solid D?
Bottom.
D,
Bottom.
yeah.
Bottom? Below Hulk?
It has to be. Because the Hulk had at least a few good fight scenes.
Yeah. So I accidentally screwed up the whole order of this. So
Alright,
it's
so I
fine.
saw. The next one is Captain America Winter Soldier.
okay, Winter
Captain
Soldier.
America, Winter Soldier.
Hey.
Hey,
For a lot of people, not me, this is their favorite MCU movie.
I can't blame
And
him.
I can see why.
I really can't
I
blame
can
him.
also see why. I wouldn't say it's my favorite either.
Honestly,
But
I
I-
actually skipped over the Winter Soldier when I was going through the MCU first
I know,
time.
I kept trying to get you, and I had to go with my dad instead.
Yeah, but upon coming back to it, like it was weird because this was after I saw Civil War, but coming back to it, like, goddamn.
Here's what they did. They decided to change genres for Captain America and made it into an action thriller.
Well, and here was the thing too: the original Captain America was set during, like, during
The
frickin'
the 40s.
1940s. And so what essentially this was a whole new turf for Captain America as a standalone movie. So I was actually really looking forward to seeing how he would react in this modern world on his own. And what we
To
got.
be honest,
Oh god. This
to
was
be
not-
honest, I would just say like I probably had the opposite expectations. I had a feeling this wasn't gonna be as good, considering it was a completely different like time era, and like considering the type of hero Captain America is. I was thinking going into it, I'm like, maybe it's not gonna be as like maybe it's just gonna be more generic because like it's not as much to work with. At least the movie before had like the old aesthetic. But I can say at least I was like really pleasantly surprised.
and
Mhm.
what really drives this movie forward is it's Captain America and his races with all the other characters, but also the Winter Soldier. From being from an okay side character in Captain America to pretty much being one of the most compelling villains,
Question mark? Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Antagonists.
antagonist. He wasn't really a villain, but it was just so compelling to watch. And my god, that final fight scene.
Oh yes. That was a glorious conclusion.
But we can't only talk about the Winter Soldier because we also get introduced to the Falcon.
Yes, that's right.
To your
Just
left.
because, yep, to your left, yep. Just going for a jog.
And I would have to say, I loved how casually they introduced this guy.
Yeah.
It's always the
Because
best.
as a viewer who did not know who the Falcon is,
Mm-hmm. Same.
I thought he was just a random side character. And they built him up so slowly to when he's relevant. It's just so good to see.
It really
It's like a nice stew.
a nice stew with a surprise secret ingredient.
Meth, yeah.
Are you saying the Falcon is meth?
Yes, the pleasant and how you look at it. Surprise.
You get the Heisenberg special.
But the Falcon adds a lot of things. And Black Widow added a lot.
Yeah.
Like, other than Avengers, I think this was the first time that Black Widow actually truly felt badass. Because a lot of times they sidecast her.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Well, I feel like that's fair because Black Widow is considered a separate Avenger. She doesn't have her own separate movie. Why would she be
She
the
will.
main character in someone else's? Yeah, she will. So, like, why would she be the main character in somebody else's movie? Obviously,
What was weird
Captain
to
America.
see. What was weird to see was like Black Widow eventually becoming a love interest for not one but two different characters over the course of it, and I was like,
So,
Man, that's a nasty cough you got there, Zenadean.
Yeah. Coronavirus.
Well, we'll get to that love interest stuff because it gets kind of painful in the movie we get to.
Oh, yes. You. Not my intention, but that works.
So, I like Winter Soldier a lot.
Me too.
I also do.
I don't think we have to debate this, do we?
Dieter?
Bottom of the barrel, worse than Thor Dark World. Let's go.
It's either high A or S.
Looking at this lineup, I only see two more, like at least personally, I only see two more S's coming up.
I don't know if I would call it
I
S
see
tier.
two, potentially three.
I don't know if I'd call it S tier, but definitely high A.
Oh, I put high A.
A for America.
A for America's ass, boy.
Oh boy. And now let's get to a great introductory movie that's to a team that we really knew nothing about, and nobody even had any hype at all for this movie.
Yeah,
People
this was just gonna...
thought this movie was going to be a waste of time.
Oops.
The
Exactly.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I wasn't expecting much from this at all, considering
I
that
wasn't expecting
it was about a bunch of characters that were coming together. Like, here's the thing. It was a bit of an... I'm hearing a huge echo. Sorry, just a...
Oh, sorry. Is it better now?
Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, but,
Okay.
kind of. I still hear myself.
I think it's bleeding through my earphones, so I'm just gonna lean back every time then see if that helps.
Fair enough.
I don't think it's bleeding for me.
It's one of you two, anyways. We'll just cut this bit. But all right. Anyways, what I was saying, it's like this is a foil for the Avengers in a way that while the Avengers had several movies to build up its main characters, Guardians of the Galaxy did not. It had nothing to build up from. We just get introduced to all of these characters. The only thing that we really get introduced, that we really see from the other movies was Thanos, technically.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the big introduction, but other than that, this movie was completely on its own without any of the buildup that the Avengers had leading up to it. So we knew nothing of this. How were we to expect something like this with this many characters and expect it to work? But work
And the
it
real
fucking
interesting thing is,
did.
with all the characters, for the first time, everybody had the moment. Gamora had the time to be badass. Rocket had his technology stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Batista had being Drax.
And even Groot got to say something other than "I am Groot."
Groot I am.
We are Groot.
Oh god, now. And this is where Final Confrontations always proved to be important, because it was always exciting to see all these guys get up and work together to fight Roland's fleet.
Yeah.
And we had Gamora had her fight with Nebula, and spoilers alert, Nebula is my favorite character in the MCU.
Yeah, that's revealed in this movie.
Yeah.
But meeting Nebula, like this movie has probably some of the best characters in the MCU.
Definitely.
I
The
could agree with
music?
that.
The music?
Oh shit. The music being stuff entirely from Peter Quill's playlist. Oh, it took me back. And it's like, fuck yeah, this is the dude that knows what's up. He has a great, this movie had an amazing soundtrack for like some good old classic stuff. It was great. It was such a
And
good
what
time.
other movie has a final confrontation be decided by a dance battle?
Oh dear gravy.
No, there is.
And here's the thing: Roland in any other movie would be a boring villain, but because of his over seriousness with a blackball cast, it kind of makes him very enjoyable because he seems to be the only sane person here.
It's interesting to see because Ronan's kind of like the straight man in all of this compared to the off-the-wall cast, and it makes a fascinating dynamic that we see in a lot of comedy duos in general, but we have it as a hero being a group of heroes and a villain, and that alone is it just works.
Oh, and another character I liked, Yondu.
Yondu, yes,
He gets. I have more to say about him in the second movie,
indeed.
but yeah, the scene where he just whistles the arrow and kills everybody around him in seconds.
Oh
It
yeah.
kind of shows the type of character he is, and he's not somebody to be fucked with.
Well, exactly. You see him, and he is a menacing character with a really cool
Gimmick.
little tool with his little whistle knife of doom.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So does anyone have any downsides to this movie?
The silence is deafening. Ooh.
I have kind of a
I'm-
retrospective. Oh, then.
No, I'm just actively trying to think of one.
Honestly,
Well, the only one downside I can think of, this movie kind of ruined Suicide Squad because when they saw this movie, they tried to replicate it so badly.
oh, it was that Suicide Squad became a dumpster fire as a result.
Suicide
Like,
Squad
you
was
can kind
always
of blame
gonna be
this
a
movie
dumpster
for
fire.
ruining Suicide
I mean,
Squad
yeah,
because
but-
it's been kind of documented that's what happened.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, DC.
Suicide Squad 2, I can't wait to look at because it looks like it's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because isn't it being directed by?
Oh yeah, because
By
of the damn
Dave.
controversy that got him fired and then rehired.
So there'll be a little section where it'll be like, that doesn't seem right. But aside from that, it'll be
Well,
good.
yeah, I find it interesting that the guy that directed Guardians of the Galaxy is now directing the next movie that Guardians of the Galaxy ruined its predecessor. I just find it a little bit karmic.
He's
you
cleaning
know?
up his mistakes. It's fine.
Because if you did not like Suicide Squad and you thought it was going to be better, blame Guardians because that's where that tonal shift, and if you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about happens.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So
I'm
definitely
thinking high A.
the highest A.
Yeah.
I would almost. Yeah.
I'm not saying S because I have only 2, maybe 3 S's.
I feel like we have the same S's. Actually, I don't think we do, but we might.
Well, I'm going to tell you it's not Age of Ultron.
It's not?
Segue!
No! Age of Ultron is so good, though. It's got age in the title. It's got.
Now, here's the thing. I like
Quicksilver.
half of the movie.
You're not still.
Yeah.
You're not still salty about what happened to your favorite character
Yes, I
there, are
am.
you?
I'm also salty about that.
I don't know, Sen, but has Sen ever told you about my course?
Oh,
I
I
have-
know exactly about your curse.
So for those of you at home, Jag has this thing that no matter what happens, if Jag picks a favorite character, that character is marked for death without frickin' exception. Literally, and there was none more clear an example than this movie right here. Because I'm sitting next to this dude in the theater, and Jag turns to me and he's like, I like this character. And he's talking about Quicksilver. And he's like, I really like this character. And at this point, I've known of his curse for a very long time. So I'm like, oh shit.
Oh no.
Oh shit. I know what's coming now. And lo and behold, it actually happened. And seeing the utter despair set in on this poor dude was... Oh! It was both heartbreaking and hilarious simultaneously.
It was so soon. This is the movie he's also introduced in, right?
Oh yeah, and I wish they somehow kept Quicksilver, because Quicksilver could have so many cool things happen.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the X-Men Days of Future Past and the slow-mo scenes from that, you could have got a lot of those from Quicksilver by still existing.
I just realized something, but I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up during Endgame, but keep that note. I've just realized something, and remind me once we get to Endgame to tell my realization here.
Put a note in there for you, okay?
Yeah, just a little tickaroony there.
But that's not the reason why I have kind of so thoughts. The part of the movie that drags down is the relationship between Black Widow and the Hulk. This drags everything down.
Yeah.
After the fallout we got from Black Widow and Steve, no less, as well.
And
oh man, Zenadean, there's that cough again. God damn,
Oh,
are you
God.
okay? Do you have the coof? Do you have the COVID, man?
now here's the thing. I also feel like Black Widow is a better character when you don't try to romance her all the time.
Yeah, because...
Well, especially
That
once
is
we
what I feel
realize
writers-
when, like, what happens to, like, especially when we realize that, like, she was sterilized, so there's no real point in it, you know?
But anyways, oh god, that's an icky subject.
Oh god.
Well, all right
But
then.
really, the real problem is, one, I don't think Captain America and Black Widow really had much of a relationship, because I think they were trying to push Captain America to still have feelings for Peggy, even though time has passed.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the problem is, it's just a relationship that doesn't really feel that natural.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things that Marvel kind of, like, the writers kind of struggle with, like, just writing that kind of movie in general, all the way up until near the, like, recently they've gotten better at it, but I think they brought in different writers. Like, the writers they had at the time, they're just not really good at writing rom, because the thing is, they write action movies, and they write, like...
It's
Well,
not
no.
romance movies, exactly. And the romances that we get throughout most of this is kind of lackluster. The most interesting relationship we see is probably...
Well, here's the thing. Here's the real romance of the movie. Steve and Iron Man.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
No. Come on, man. The wood cutting scene.
Honestly, though, the most interesting romance that we
It's Steve
really
and
see
Iron.
is, aside from frickin' memes aside, maybe I've told you one too many meme stories, and now he's starting to embrace it.
Who, me?
Oh, you
Yes.
poor soul.
No, I said Steven and Iron Man because I sipped him during that movie. You were right beside me there.
Yeah. I guess that's why Civil War happened, because he thought that was his favorite ship, and the curse kicked in a different way.
Oh,
Oh, I was mostly joking.
Mostly.
Mostly.
and yet the ship still died.
Well, to be fair, it was never really there. Like, Iron Man was always with Pepper Pot, but
Which
You don't see another
was
pepper in
one
you,
of my
Tony.
one of the most
What?
interesting romances that we saw. I mean, aside from Captain America and Peggy, like that was some classy
I still
shit.
say Captain America. No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
What else, like,
Come on.
What other
don't
romances that we get is like Jane Foster and freaking Black Widow X everybody and like Hawkeye and his non-existent
Ding.
family.
But other than the romance drags it down, but what doesn't drag it down is Ultron.
Yeah.
Yes, Ultron was a fascinating character. It was
Made very
essentially
different from the comics, but it was a good change.
It was really interesting seeing Bruce and Tony work together on a project of this magnitude. These two scientists that are very different in how they work. Never mind their scientific fields, but they come together and create life, essentially with the power of technology that seemed to have been even a mystery to the place it originated from.
Mm.
And seeing them work together to create this life and suddenly have this life reject itself. Whew.
And then Tony perfects it by creating Vision.
Indeed.
I feel like James Spader was also just a really good choice of actor to play Ultron.
He
Oh,
came
yeah.
so far from being freaking it was really cool having Jarvis integrated into that.
But Ultron just sold the soul.
Yes, indeed.
Even in the behind the scenes, he stole the show. Like, as weird as it sounds. Even in the behind the scenes where he's not Ultron and he's just playing the character with like a green screen, he's still really interesting to watch.
Oh, I see. I didn't see a whole lot of
this
that.
is a tricky one because there was good and there was...
I do have a gripe, particularly in the sense that when Ultron, yes, we see the big bad Ultron, but what we don't see a lot of is his clones. He makes a bunch of his clones, like lesser clones, mind you, but clones nonetheless. But we kind of see them either in the background or as a big old blob where we don't actually get to see what they look like very well until the very last one at the very end. That is something I have a gripe about, because it's like, what the fuck am I looking at half the time?
Yeah. Then again, like, some could have formed even better.
I'll tell
went
you
to
what
other
my favorite
places.
action scene in this movie was actually, though.
Hmm.
Hulkbuster versus Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah! Which,
Has
thinking
Hulk
about it...
fought all of the Avengers at some point?
In the comics, most definitely.
Oh yeah, but everyone's fought everyone in the comics.
Fucking comics, yeah. But the Hulkbuster fight was great.
Indeed. And it was a nice little nod later on, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I just thought it was worth bringing up.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting because it was actually more of a distraction than anything from the main plot.
I know, and I didn't know where I could bring it.
But I really do like, in that same regard, how, like, freaking Scarlet Witch goes and tries to control Hawkeye, and Hawkeye's like, "Fuck you! I've done the mind control thing already. Not doing it again. Fuck off, movie."
It's not the MCU's real fault, but they still haven't really explained her powers at all yet.
Not really. Which, given
Like,
the focus
I know
that...
why they haven't, but with mutants coming to the MCU sometime 2022, I got a feeling that's not going to be a for much longer.
It's kind of strange, given the amount of focus she's been given so far, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, she's also getting her own series,
Oh.
WandaVision for Disney Plus.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So where are you putting this one?
I would say A.
I would say
I'd say
B.
I'd say lower A, high B.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
I think B might be best.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
Probably like...
Because I would put it above any
I don't
other
think
one
I would
today.
put... Yeah, that's a big clincher. I wouldn't put it above Iron Man. So I'll just plop it there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so what was next on this list? My order is still probably skewed.
Ant-Man.
Okay. Well, this was an interesting take from the actual comic, wasn't it, Jag?
Well, yeah, because they kind of just ignored Hank Pym. Like, Hank Pym is supported, but they just went with the Scott Lang on Ant-Man, which is probably a better take.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, Hank Pym has a lot of baggage.
Well, we certainly see some of that
Like,
within
in the
this movie.
comics, even though it's a little dispersonalized, but Hank Pym is mainly known for the person who slapped around his wife.
Oh.
But in context, he was having a huge mental breakdown when he slapped Janet the one time.
Okay.
But people being people,
Yeah.
only remember him for slapping the wife.
See, I wouldn't have even known about that.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
So, way to perpetuate the norm there, Jag.
Well,
Nah,
just a sec.
it's okay.
But that's kind of why they went with this one.
Oh, I see. Well, it was still a fascinating a look at this dude regardless. Like, Hank Pym being a side character was still a fascinating dude. And
Like,
seeing what he was...
Hey, I'll show you on the Buddy Discord. Here's the infamous incident.
Ooh, that's. Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, there was reasons why people were worried about an Ant-Man thing happening.
For this one
Ah,
panel?
No,
mean,
well,
yeah.
because the character's history does not look good, because that's one of the first things you'll find if you search up Hank Pym's history.
Yeah. They're gonna cancel him.
Bleh. So lame.
Let's not get into that discussion, but
regardless...
choosing Scott Lang is also interesting because Scott Lang has a daughter.
Scott Lang is a fascinating character as well, because he is, having a family and trying to support them as best he can, despite the fact that he's a fucking criminal and like on parole at this point, and trying his best to stay within the lines, but also he's like, yeah, fuck that.
Now, I know you guys, you enjoyed the movie, but me, I kind of found it average at best.
Uh,
Well,
because it wasn't really that exciting or interesting. Like, I know it was nice to have a nice tone down.
well,
literally.
I actually firmly disagree on that point because I really did enjoy seeing this dude struggle with his essentially dual life without being a superhero at this point, and then trying to incorporate being this Ant-Man while trying to work through all of this and still not be fucking jailed again or divorced at this point.
Nice to see a healthy divorce rather than a divorce where everybody hates each other.
Well, that's true. And that's the interesting thing. People like you hear about a couple that's divorced, and all you think and all you see in these movies is like the bitterness that comes with it. But Scott Lang is really trying here.
The wife's new boyfriend is not a dick.
That too.
Mm.
Scott is really trying to make things work and support his daughter, and it's still very wholesome.
It's one of the most wholesome Marvel movies, really.
Exactly.
Did
And while we even
connect?
get this, even during like the final battle, when his family gets involved and he tries to protect, and he has to try and protect them as best he can. Like it's all very
by
wholesome.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
It's like something out of a modern day meme.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed looking at the like duality of his like. It's hard to explain, like the previous life that he had of being a thief versus how he has to act now as a superhero. Plus, I just love watching Paul Rudd on screen in general. I feel like he's a very, would you call him actor skillful?
I would.
Okay, I
Hey,
think
he
you're
has a
very.
lot- trade, yeah?
He has like that every man charm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's potentially in the next movie when we get to it. But
Which, by the way, that's an interesting point to go off of. Because Scott Lang, well, okay, maybe he's not the definition of an average person, but according to given where everybody else in the Avengers so far came from in the MCU as a whole, I'd say Scott Lang is probably the most average until we get to later ones. But from at this point, he's kind of the most everyman kind of dude we've got.
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult to relate to a billionaire and a god, and
And a person who
from
lived
World War
a super
II,
soldier
was
from
stuck-
World.
was stuck in an iceberg.
Yeah, exactly. So as a result, we kind of see this man as more human than anybody, and as a result, we can relate to him. Probably anybody who's gone through a divorce would probably be able to relate to him a whole lot.
mm.
You guys have convinced me to not make him C, so I'm going to say B.
High B.
So be it.
Haha.
Ooh, how high?
I'd say
under-
Age of
Under
Ultron.
Avengers Ultron.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
I'll
I'll allow
it's-
it, I guess.
allow it. Yeah, there you go.
Next,